Yeah, there you go.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Glenn,
G'day.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having us.
Shotgun Mistress.
Yes, you listen to the name and you know exactly what the sounds it's going to sound like.
It sounds angry.
Yeah, you know what? It does sound a bit angry, but there wasn't an intentional. There wasn't any intention behind it being angry. There
Right.
was more of a running around with our arms like going, "What the hell are we going to call this band?"
I'd love it.
Because I tell you what, like having to name a band is so much harder than writing an album's worth of music.
Oh, yeah, because it has to,
Yeah.
stick and it has to be, the legacy. You don't want to have to change the name after 12 months.
And there's
That
so
would
many
fucking suck.
Oh, yeah, there's so many horror stories about having to change names, and I think Taxi Ride did it as well. Like Taxi, that they were originally called, and then they had to go to Taxi Ride. But there's heaps
Yeah.
of other reasons behind it. But this was specifically we want it to be genre specific.
Yeah.
When you listen to the name, you'll know roughly or exactly what the sound's going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a female in the band?
No, there's not. But the reason why
But you all have long hair.
we all have, well, no, two of us are bald.
Oh, shit.
We're no longer spring chickens anymore, Andrew.
What do you mean? Yeah, it was that old.
It's a good moisturizer.
Korean skincare.
Exactly.
So there's no female.
No, there's no female in the band. There's
I love the art though.
female on the front cover.
Yeah.
Absolutely dominating
Yeah.
whatever universe that is.
Yeah.
It was more of a female embodiment of power more than anything else. We've there's been a few of us that have come from not meaning to get like dark and ominous or too serious on a podcast such as yourselves, Andrew.
That's all right. 2 minutes in, let's just dive straight
Let's
into
go
it.
straight into it,
Yeah,
shall we?
yeah.
But yeah, it was more about trying to shed a bit of light on things like family abuse, and there's been a lot of stuff in some of our families that have really sort of made it prevalent in our lives to if even if we're just kids not being able to deal with it or not knowing how to deal with it, just having some sort of platform to be able to at least talk about and making aware of, which a lot of people do. So although we've been called misogynistic because of the name and because of some of the imagery, it's
Just don't listen to those
mate.
people.
It is. You couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? How is... I mean... Okay, so it's Shotgun, but really, with what you've just explained, I totally get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm the same. My dad worked away from when I was 8, so he's never really in my life. So my mum raised us 3 kids, and then they separated and divorced, and
Yeah.
and I never really had a great relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
And women go through really hard stuff with dealing with family and raising children, and then the pressures of society and all that type of stuff. So
Especially when it's male swinging as well.
yeah.
But what I'm loving about rock and roll these days,
Yeah.
and rock and roll has been such a legacy genre for so long. Growing up, I was born in the UK, and then I moved here when I was born in the UK in '84. And then and then moved.
Hey, I'm actually older than you.
Oh, thank God for that.
Oh God, it's the Asian DNA
It's the
though.
Asian DNA, exactly. That's great. And then I moved to Australia when I was 3. I've taken solemn in the fact that I can't be Prime Minister because I'm English. Actually, no, I tell a lie. There's been 7, I think, Prime Ministers that were born overseas, 6 of them being British, I think.
Yeah,
And 1 Chilean. But hey, we're not here to talk about politics.
yeah,
So I figured, rock and roll was the lifestyle for me growing up. But because of the time,
the
90s,
80s, 90s.
yeah, when you actually when you're in the 80s, I grew up listening to all those hair bands, and 70s, 80s rock bands was a real big thing then.
yeah,
Growing up watching Bill and Ted you know. Uh,
Yeah.
but then when I was of age to actually
Play.
was early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. Rock, the only rock that was around was, the final era of grunge and these sort of 90s cock rock type stuff like Creed. But even then it was very, very specific. And then it was like nothing for so many years. Triple J abolished rock music. It is non-existent from there on, and even now, people like they'll say, "No, we've got rock, but it's such a specific rock genre that it's legacy rock just isn't really a thing." And I'm just starting to feel that there's a bit of
a resurgence.
Yeah, resurgence. And where I was going to with the lead in with the last topic is that there's quite a lot of female-fronted rock bands now as well, which I'm absolutely loving.
Yeah.
Because it brings a little bit of, dynamic to the industry, I think.
Yeah, and diversity of like tones and I guess branding and like all that type of stuff, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
And music is, I think, one of those things that's just universal, right? Like you can create a song that can be relatable to like so many different types of people because we all go through stuff in our lives, and at some point you want to hit the gym and listen to some rock.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. And gym and rock go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gym and rock go hand in hand. Long drives and rock go hand in hand.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
You know, like bender nights with rock go hand in hand, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Benders, what are they?
So where did you get your like influence to do something with music? Like, was it your parents or was it your siblings? Do you have siblings?
I got siblings, but it was more my cousins, I think. My cousins growing up, they were in a rock band together. That was in the grunge era.
Yeah.
They were in a band called, I think, Kill Rush or something, I think. And
Right.
real sort of grungy, surfer grunge thing. And it was something that I loved because, once again, the Bill and Ted era type thing was, I was really involved in that. And I always loved rock and roll from an early age. But going through, as I mentioned, the 2000s when there wasn't anything, there wasn't opportunities. I didn't know the industry well enough. I didn't know anything really. And being that young, you don't. Like if you're playing music and the genre is doing well in that era, then if you stay at it for long enough and you do a few albums or whatever, you're gonna get recognized.
It comes back.
It does, yes, exactly.
It's everything is in a cycle.
It's definitely secular.
Yeah, that's the word.
It is good. I'm glad I didn't stuff that up live. And knowing now that there's a bit of a rock resurgence now, I think it's because there's people who are our age or a little bit older.
Oh, shit.
We have kids, and those kids go to the concerts that their parents want to go to.
Yes.
And then, like, I went to Pearl Jam over the weekend.
Oh, how was it?
And it was great. It was wonderful. It was very nostalgic. I don't really go to many stadium shows. I don't know what it is with stadium shows. I'd love to be on the stage of a stadium show, but I think it kind of loses a little bit of the essence of a good rock and roll show unless, like, if you're in, say the Forum. The Forum is, to me, that's a bucket list venue. You go to, and then that's the it's
very, like, I was going to say intimate, but it's not intimate. But it is. It is
intimate. It is definitely intimate because even though it's like a 1,500 capacity venue, they've built it in such a way that it does have like an intimate vibe. You walk in there, the mood lights, the sculptures, the stage. As I said, it's a bucket list, and it's the venue right before the stadium arenas. And when you go to stadium arenas, and when you're there as just a punter and you don't really they don't play music, and like you can get caught up in it, absolutely, I'm not denying that. But I think I would much prefer going to see a band with a 400-person capacity or a 1,200-person capacity.
Let's see if we can't get you on the forum.
Let's do this.
Anyone listening that has any connections with the forum,
Link below.
Shotgun Mistress. Let's do it. Okay, so your cousins were in a band, and you probably went to like family gatherings, and that you all spoke about it and all that type of stuff, and that's kind of what. Did you play instrument in school?
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was about 7 or 8, I think, but it was
thank
never.
Thank God you said 7 or 8. I thought you were going to say 3.
Yeah,
I was like,
no,
holy shit.
no prodigy whatsoever when it comes to guitar.
Okay,
I was in the choir when I was about sort of the same age as well.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those. But the thing is, segueing again from the last topic or the similar topic, was that because there wasn't any of that style of music going around in my time, I sort of veered into the sort of pop scene, and it was more like pop rock, because that was the closest to rock that I could possibly know about, that people were interested in, that my peers had anything to do with.
And that your parents allowed you to do.
My parents were actually very, very supportive when it comes
were
to
they?
that. Yeah, they were super supportive.
Wow.
You always have your moments with your parents and stuff, but like I think growing up, they were like the most that they were supportive of anything I did, especially music. So cannot ever fault them for that.
I suppose it's either sport or like more school stuff or music or getting into trouble.
Yeah, it's true.
And so
if it's not the latter,
yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah. And then they're just happy. They're like, yeah, we'll drive you around. What do you need?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so I was in the pop scene, really. And the problem is with the pop scene, and I think even now, and I'm not saying this about every pop artist or anything, I'm just stating my sort of view and take on it at the time. And that was that the people that I was working with ended up playing with the Lee brothers, who were in Pseudo Echo back in the 80s, Vince Lee and James Lee and Jerry. And they were in a band called, remember Invertigo back in the early 2000s? Yeah, that was them. And then when Christian, the singer, left, they tried a few other artists, and I ended up joining them, and then we just changed the name and had whole new music. But there's only a few releases over the space of like a 12-year period. But the whole pop scene, it felt like it was, you were trying to create a product that was for the people and not for yourself. And it's a toughie, because you go into this industry because you love what you do.
And you want to stay authentic to yourself, but then in order to get fans or make money, you have the pop scene, you have to fit into them.
And the problem is, it's the exact authenticity that drives the audience into wanting to be a part of.
Because then they can connect with you.
Exactly, yeah.
And they're like, oh, wow, I really get it. And,
Yeah, exactly. So I found the pop scene quite disingenuous from a point of view. And it sucked for a long time, because I was like, it felt like masturbation without the payoff. You know what I mean? And I was, I don't know, there's just something about it where I just wasn't being fulfilled enough.
Right.
I think. So you can edit the first part out, and then you can use that part. So you
Fuck
can.
No, I don't edit shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was.
You feel you feel like you're serving someone else as opposed to serving your soul.
Yep.
Like creating music because that's what you love doing, and that's the type of music that you love playing, and then people appreciate that as opposed to trying to fit into what someone else wants.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's the same with other industries as well, like modeling and photography. Like if you join an agency, well, then you're locked in with the agency, and you don't have creative freedom, and you want that creative freedom because that's why you got into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
especially with modeling and stuff as well.
Yeah. So, How many other band members are there?
So there's 3 band members.
Yep.
We're classic, standard, legacy rock. Bass, guitar, drums, vocal. That's it.
Yep.
If the next steps happen and then we're playing massive venues, then who knows what we would add for them. But yeah, getting into the rock thing, I was trying to figure out how to do it. Like I was looking at collaborations with artists, and then it wasn't until about sort of 7 or 8 years ago when there was started to be a bit of a rumble of rock starting again, and I'm like, oh wow, this is something. I had a mate, Matt Wilcock, who was one of the best guitarists I know. He'd been playing throughout the metal scene for many, many years. A guitarist for Bremelin, he toured with Cradle of Filth, Akakock, heaps of the Berserker over in the UK. That massive as well.
Yeah.
And I'd known him for many years. He was in pop rock bands with me back when we were kids. Sorry, Matty, for throwing you under the bus there. And he moved to the UK, did his big metal bands over there for many, many years. And he came back and he said, hey, I'm starting up a rock and roll band. And this was, 7 years ago or something. And that's when we all sort of met. We'd all sort of kind of half knew each other from past, bumping into each other over the years. And then it just gelled. And then Shotgun Mistress was born. But it wasn't without its trials and tribulations prior to Matt coming to the table and saying, hey, there's a band here. I got so caught up in the industry that I actually wanted to know fully about the industry. So about 10 years ago, I joined up with a buddy of mine who used to be the drummer of a band called Tin Alley, and they were actually quite big in the early 2000s as well. And he'd been a radio plugger since the late 90s, and he saw what I was doing with my own stuff. He said, hey, do you want to join forces? And then we started up our own separate company, which ended up being a lot bigger than his original company, and then we just... that other company was disbanded, and then we started up this big company.
And so it's a PR company, for musicians.
Yep. Yeah.
For bands.
Yeah. Yeah. So PR companies, for people who don't know, it's essentially we do exactly what the record label would do. Only the problem is with artists and management and stuff coming to us is that obviously that it's a paid service. It's how we make a living. It's just like you guys going and doing your job.
Yep.
And that doesn't come without its trials and tribulations either, especially when people,
fucking life
messages. I know they message us and they're saying, "Oh, you, this is a paid thing. How dare you?" It's like, come on, man, we're this is a service here, man. This is a job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's essentially we do exactly the same as what a record label would do.
Right.
It's just obviously it's a paid service, but the record label would do the exact same thing. They're the ones that pay for you, and then you've got to pay that back. There's no difference in it. The difference is that you still own 100% of your music. And I just got into the business because I wanted to know the industry, because I had no idea. I was going down this road that I felt was once again so disingenuous that I wanted to figure out, well, what the fuck can I do? And
how can you help other musicians?
Yep, yeah, it was
fully understanding everything that's involved in the process and the environment and stuff.
Especially then, it was quite a tall poppy syndrome thing as well. Especially here in Australia, everyone was out for blood. No one was looking after each other. It wasn't a thing.
Yet again, I think a lot of industries are still like that.
Yeah, of course,
still
they are.
out for blood.
Yeah, definitely. Even this industry in some formats, but. You'll find that if you go to a rock show now, especially here in Melbourne, the majority of people and bands are just out to help each other. And, there'll be bandmates or other bands that come and help do merch for each other. And they'll pitch bands on podcasts. And there's heaps of bands that I could just sit here for the rest of the podcast and just reel off a bunch of kick-ass bands.
We need to get back to that where we like
100%.
help each other out and stop being so jealous or envious about what other people are doing. Because, like, if you help me, I'll help you, you know, like at some point, like later on or whatever, you know, like.
Yeah, 100%. And I think helping each other out is the best thing to do because as an artist, you're broke, right?
Yeah.
So you've got, barter systems are a huge thing for us, you know. I think, with the PR company for us, we've been saying this for a few years now, but we bought like this 45, 50-foot bus about 3 years ago that was like, it drove brilliantly. It was a man bus that used to do the tours up and back from the Kimberleys. It's a kick-ass bus. But there was leaks all through it, mold. It'd been beaten up quite bad. But the motor itself, amazing. It took us about a year and a half to literally replace all the windows and do the body work, fix all the leaks, and we will get it wrapped. It's all sorted, but we're going to wait until the inside's done and then wrap it last. But then unfortunately I had to get shipped back up to Heathcote, which is about 4 hours away. So there hasn't been much work to do on it. But doing barter systems, like what we wanted to do was finish that bus, and then we'd say, to booking agents and go, hey, look, we've got this bus that you can utilize for your bigger acts. In return, all we want is to be support acts. But you can do that a bit with anything. Like any artist who has a normal job as a tradie, anything, you can help each other out and just say, hey, do plastering, and in return, they can do like a PR job for you, or let's get on support. I've done bartering for bands like Mammal and Electric Mary. That's how we got onto supports with that. I'm not ashamed to say that because we're not paying our way on. We're helping each other out. So we're helping release their music and try to get them onto platforms like Triple M and
it is an interesting aspect because I didn't consider that for musicians, the whole bartering kind of approach. And so I guess if I didn't know, who else doesn't know? You know, and like if you're a budding musician and you have a little bit of an attitude and you don't want to help people, well, then you're not really gonna like get far.
Who's going to help you?
Yeah.
And it's not about I helped you, so now you've got to help me.
Yeah.
It's about sharing the experience, and the experience that you have, especially in Australia, it is such a small industry here.
Well, that's because we're stuck on the largest fucking island in the world.
Yeah, it's true. And it's tough. Like people go overseas and they come back. They go over there and make it, and they come back here.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I know.
Like all these bastards that have left and then they come back and everyone's like, oh, we know them now. Da, 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 da. It's like, well, hang on a minute. You didn't fucking say anything when they were here.
Yeah.
So now you've got an opinion? And like, okay. Like Chris Hemsworth, okay. Hugh Jackman, okay.
In excess.
Yep. Kylie Minogue, okay. Well, she never came back, but Yeah.
It sucks. The reason why it sucks is because it's not like I would understand if there wasn't any good bands in Australia. I'd get it. Like, you're not good enough. You're not cutting it. You're the fucking Neighbours of Hollywood, which Neighbours still has its place, mind you.
You're the Nickelback of Hollywood.
Mate, don't say Nickelback of Hollywood. Come on. Mate, Nickelback are absolute legends. I don't care what anyone says. Those guys have got it going on.
I think it's real interesting that they just keep playing on the whole, hey, we're Nickelback thing. Yeah. And it's like a meme now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Actually, did you see the documentary recently?
No.
Good buddies of ours, Phil and Tish, who run Rock Hard with Phil and Tish on PBA FM over in Adelaide.
Right.
They had I think it was like a 10-second sort of snippet of them talking about Nickelback on the Nickelback documentary.
Oh.
Yeah, so shout out to Phil and Tish.
Phil and Tish.
Yeah.
Get me on your radio show, Phil and Tish.
Yeah, we'll sort it out after the show.
Yeah. Apparently I've got a radio voice, but like I'm way too animated, so I have to be on video.
Yeah, he's way too good looking for radio, so that's why he's got some video. It's the Asian moisturizer.
Yeah. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, what were we talking about? What was cool?
I can't remember. Radio.
Yeah, bartering, radio. Yeah, so it's as long as time bartering. And
Well, yeah.
it worked before money, and that was something that, has stayed relevant until today.
Yeah. And that's what we were talking about, like collaborating and like helping each other out, and not helping each other out because you owe me or I owe you or whatever. It's like sharing that experience to kind of like create stuff.
Yeah.
And so what advice would you give a new person wanting to start a band, or like,
I'm the wrong person to ask, honestly.
Don't do it. It's too expensive.
No. Like there's never enough money in it in Australia. It's just, it's not going to, like, if you're in it for the money, like, don't. Just don't.
Just work out if it's your passion.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that a lot of people fall short on, they might make the best song in the world, but if they don't market it correctly, if they don't, like, unfortunately, you're an artist, you've got to be 10 different hats.
Yeah.
You're the marketer, you're the distributor, you're essentially this pop-up retail outlet in venues all across the country or all across the world, trying to sell your product. And as much as that sounds like it sucks, as long as you love doing it, that's the only advice that I can really think of.
Yeah. The thing that I tell people who want to get into photography, it's kind of like you have to fall in love with the process, regardless of what the outcome is. Fall in love with the process and fall in love with the technology and, like, all of that, because that's the stuff that'll kind of like get you through and get you motivated and disciplined to do more of it. If you're just searching for this perfect image, you're never going to get it.
Yeah.
Like,
although I've seen some pretty perfect images from some photographers. Like, sometimes I'll just, and I wouldn't have even known them, and then they'll just shoot some photos inbox from a show that we did. I'm like, the fuck is this guy or girl? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's the exact reason why you do what you do.
Yeah.
Because it's the exact same reason I do what I do as well.
Yeah.
It's not an ego thing, although ego is good to have. It's that feeling of accomplishment, but also that, I guess, there's that feeling of, okay, I feel like I'm on the right track because everyone else thinks so, or even just one person, But once again, it's not about everyone else, is it?
No,
so it's this
not.
fine line. It's very tough.
Yeah, and it's it's like working out what your purpose is, but then doing it over and over again to like reach mastery.
Yeah.
And then feeling good about where you're at, which is so I was doing photography for 11 years, and then I wanted to do something different, so I started interviewing models after photo shoots, and I really loved the ad lib process of interviewing. So then I set the podcast up. And for me, this is a accelerated way to learn about other people's stories, and it's very cathartic. Like how do you go and meet people and learn about them to then enrich your own knowledge and your own life on storytelling? You know, where you do that by sitting down and talking to people.
Yeah, unscripted.
Yeah, unscripted.
Is that what it says on the script?
No. Fuck, you caught me out. Look,
you're fucking too cheap for a teleprompter. Where is it?
Look, I have had some people say to me, and I have been caught out on a couple of episodes. They're like, I think you really need to do your research. And I'm like, nah, I don't need to do any research.
Not the point, is it?
Nah, I've had 2 runner-ups of music reality TV shows sit on that couch. I had Stick Maribo sit on that couch.
Who's Dick Maribo?
He was a radio host in the 80s and 90s. He gave Michael Jackson the key to Melbourne when Michael Jackson came to Melbourne the first time.
There's a key to Melbourne?
Yeah, Michael Jackson's got it. It opens up. No, I won't say that.
Oh, God.
But I had no idea who. Well, because I'm not from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like I've been here since 2001, but I grew up in Perth and before that Southeast Asia.
Yep.
So, you know,
Michael Jackson.
it's like all over the place.
Sorry, I'm still reeling on that.
What was your first rock band concert that you went to?
I went to Offspring. Was the first.
Really?
And it was a stadium show. It was.
Big Day Out?
No, it was. I think
Oh.
it was Rod Laver Arena.
Okay.
And they dressed 5 mannequins up as the Backstreet Boys, and they got baseball bats out and they bashed the shit out of them. Now today, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Hell no.
No, but
I mean, you could,
you
but you get cancelled.
yeah, absolutely. So that's what happened, and that was my first, I guess, stadium gig that I ever went to that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
I mean, Offspring. I know they're not the biggest and best in the genre that I loved. I just loved. Smash was amazing. It was such an amazing album and quite influential when you're a kid growing up listening to,
Yeah.
all those types of.
I fucking knew that. The one-man band means that I have to be on top of all the technology that's going on. That camera stopped for some reason.
Oh, really? Oh, there you go. Be back after these short messages.
Now, as I said, I don't edit anything, so that'll just stay in there.
That's fine. No worries.
So Offspring, okay. What did you feel about them smashing up those mannequins? Were you like, yeah, and then you fucking get into pop?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, pop then was, I think it was quite ahead of its time. You know, when the Backstreet Boys came out and did their larger than life shit, like that was, from a production standpoint, that was massive. So I understand why they were as big as they were.
Yeah.
But it was such a toxic environment, the pop scene back then. And you'll talk to the majority of people now, and they'll say the pop scene toxic, the rock and metal scene nicest bunch of people ever. Like you'll go there, they're all really lovely to talk to, and all quite. It's all a family. Whether that's the same overseas, I'm not too sure. But here in Australia, like especially in the past few years, there's so many amazing bands here. We went on tour to Japan with Carly Jewel back in June, and those guys are freaking amazing. She's an awesome front woman. I say front man because I always call her the king and she calls me the queen. So,
have you got longer hair than her?
No, I don't think so. I think she's just beating me in that.
You know, I used to have long hair.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was like down to here.
Nice. What happened?
I cut it.
Why?
I think it was like April. I cut it. It's just got way too heavy.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it hurts. You wake up in the morning, your hair's being pulled, and
you got a sore neck in bed, and bro, I just should have got that shit thinned out.
Yeah. Thin hair's okay.
But
yeah, Carly Jewel. I mean, Buddy's Avalanche just played. They were on the main stage of Early Beach Music Festival last weekend. They're from Sydney. They're amazing. Electric Mary. I mean, those guys have been around for 22 years next year, and they're finally finishing up. And they helped us a lot starting out when we went on tour with them during COVID periods. It was quite a turbulent time, as everybody knows, and I'm sure everyone's just sick of talking about it.
Yeah, we're still talking about it.
We're still talking about it.
I think though, it's good to talk about the traumatic times because then it kind of like help us through it, you know?
Yeah,
Help
yeah,
us through
yeah.
deal with what we went through.
Yeah, that's what psychologists are for, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to talk through your feelings and then get it out. But it's true, and I think that's that's where you come in. This is the public forum, and yeah, like having bands like that. Even we toured with them as the doors were just opening up again, so wasn't the best time to tour, but we just had to get out. I mean, all the artists were just struggling because all they could do was just release what they'd already recorded, and that was it. They couldn't share it with the world. So being able to do that right out of the gates with Rusty and the guys was just absolutely phenomenal. So it's really sad to hear them finishing up next year.
Oh, no.
And I mean, look how well. I know you had Brennan on the couch a few weeks ago. Those guys are kicking ass. They're doing so well. So Sisters Dogs guys are doing so good.
That was the first runner-up contestant.
Oh yes,
that I was like,
shit,
I should have done my research. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. Because I was like, oh, so you're on a show. Like, where did you come?
Yeah. What show is this, Neighbours?
No, and I thought to myself, because I just, I do all the admin myself, right?
Yep.
So I just, contact people, whatever. I get this email from a social media manager, and they want to know, all this stuff. And I'm like, social media manager? I'm like, okay. But then, so if ever I get an email from a social media manager, I'm like, I probably should do some research.
Oh, no, this is the essence of your podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Not knowing too much about it. You're asking the questions. Why would you need to know anything? You're going to get it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, those guys are doing great, by the way.
Yeah.
You had Mikey on here a few weeks ago as well from Iron Sky. They just played a show a couple of weeks ago.
I loved his story, the stuff that he's gone through.
Yeah,
and
Mikey's great.
Yeah, he's such a great guy.
Yeah, absolute legend. The guitarist, Jake, he plays covers with his partner, and I met him years ago when I used to be a DJ at the Duke of Wellington, and I'd be DJing straight after their set, so I've known them for a long time.
Hang on. So you're a DJ as well?
Mate, I was a DJ since I was 16, and as I said, I was so lost. I was hopelessly lost, and I needed some sort of light to sort of guide me out of that. And that was the one good thing about COVID. Like, the venues just called me up saying, "Sorry, man, we can't keep you on anymore. They're shutting shop." And ever since then, I haven't picked up
picked up the
vinyl or whatever DJs use these days.
Headphones.
Yeah, headphones. Yep. Wireless headphones.
Yeah, you didn't want to get back into doing that?
No, it was time. Yeah.
Right.
I'm fucking 40, man. Like, I'm not going to venues anymore and DJing for 20-year-olds. This old creep up at the DJ booth. It felt like that the last couple of years. And yeah, it's tough juggling family, trying to write music and do what your passion is, but then you're also splitting up your sleep patterns so much. And although that's what happens in the rock scene, it's not every Friday and Saturday night and I've been doing it like nearly every Friday, Saturday night since I was like 16. It was, I didn't really go to many parties. It was all just about,
work.
Yeah.
And the industry and all that type of stuff.
So,
and again, serving other people.
Yeah.
As opposed to serving your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite soulless. I've got many DJ friends and they would probably fight me for saying this. But no, it's each to their own.
I think that's exactly right. It's each to their own. You find your passion doing lots of different things, and then you just double down on what things you like doing, And for you, it's rock and running your PR company.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now that there's this band in place, we've been around since 2018, I think, so it's still quite early on in our career. We've almost finished demoing the third album. This one came out back in July, and it was, it did so much better than what we thought it would, especially being independent artists. We chose to stay independent this time around.
Yep.
Um,
What's the benefit in being independent?
you get everything. You get to have the control. You're not guided by any sort of false pretense or run by an establishment that may or may not be out for your best interest. You get to be able to, because I mean, I guess the one upside with being in the pop scene for so many years and then delving into the business side of things and PR is that I did get to know the industry here in Australia. I did get to know what works and what doesn't, and why the fuck should you even go down that alley in the first place? Why not just? So I guess going from, once again, that disingenuous feeling that I had the industry painted in my mind, I guess it gave me some security to know exactly where everything was and what everything was about.
Yep.
So we can do our own PR with this. We can distribute it ourselves. We can, organize tours ourselves. We can, do barter systems to try and help things like that. And it's quite encouraging to know that if we can do that as independent guys in our 40s, people in their 20s and 30s who have a lot more energy than us.
What are you trying to say?
Mate, it's.
Are you are you burning both ends of the candle?
No, I just need to get up 3 times to take a piss every night. That's all.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm only one.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
yeah. Maybe
But
I've got
I'm-
a small bladder.
I just to digress a little bit. I'm at the 6-hour mark. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with my body? I'm like, have I reached old man status? Surely not.
Oh, it's the paunch. That's what it is. When you start to get a paunch, the moment you hit 40,
You reckon?
Yeah, you start to get a paunch, and it's like, it's just so hard to lose.
When I hit 40, it's the first time I had abs that I
Really?
could see. Yeah.
well,
It's like popping. That was COVID though.
COVID.
That was COVID,
right,
so
yeah.
it was easy. It was like where you couldn't go out anywhere, and I just like meal prepped everything and go for my 5K walk
Yeah, that's
6
true,
times a day,
Yep.
and
How
like
you going with that?
yeah, look, I started up so about 6 weeks ago I decided to get back into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and at first I was a bit apprehensive because I'm like, oh, my lower back and my knee and all of that, but it's actually helped it. I feel worse if I don't go.
Yeah.
Because you are on your back and you're, like it's human chess,
Yep.
basically, professional man cuddling. And and like, someone who's half my size can feel like a fucking elephant on my chest. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Professional man cuddling.
Yeah.
My dad was he was heavily into judo when he was growing up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's a very similar thing as well.
Yeah.
It's professional man cuddling and throwing.
Yeah.
But no, I understand. Like once you get into it, the aches and pains start to subside quite
Yeah.
dramatically.
But I had to buy some like tape for my fingers because my knuckles, like, it just takes so long to
Build
like,
up the calluses.
No, to like, because they're so sore from all the grabbing.
Yeah.
And,
Like,
you know?
don't you like build up calluses, and that's when there isn't. It's kind of like playing guitar. You build up the calluses in your fingers.
No, it's not so much the skin; it's the actual joint.
Oh, okay.
It's the
All right.
actual
All right.
joint.
Okay.
So
Yep.
hopefully, I'm going tonight. So hopefully the tape works, and yeah,
You end up with hands twice the size of your head.
that's the idea.
Make a good basketball player then.
Yeah, I used to play basketball. I just don't want cauliflower ears.
No, I know. Do you get that in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Is that why you wear headphones all the time, Andrew? I've only ever seen you with headphones on.
No, I don't walk around with headphones in my house. It's very funny though. Yeah, you get cauliflower ears because one, there's actually no blood supply to your ears, but because of the pounding that you get into the mats and the movements that you have, potentially your ears just get like damaged, and then blood gets in there, and when blood gets in, it's got nowhere to go, so it stays, and that's how you get that cauliflower look.
So can you get it drained?
Yeah, you can get it drained. Yeah.
Wow.
And if you don't get it drained, then it just like hardens.
What do you do with the blood?
You just drink it, or just put it back in.
Just put it back in.
Intravenously. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Or in the eye. You
Yeah.
know. What would you do with the blood? No, I know you'd probably like take it up on stage and like spray it around everywhere.
Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool little story. Well, it's not that cool because it was to do with a pretty detrimental part in my life where it comes to health and almost dying. But twice this has happened to me in my life, right? When was the last time? 2016 was the first time, and then it happened again maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
I just started coughing up blood for no reason.
Right.
The first time it was like I'd cough up 100 to 300 mil a day.
Shit.
Quite a lot, man.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And the first time I was in hospital for about 5 weeks, they did autoimmune tests, cancer tests. It was coming out of my lungs somewhere. I have no idea what it was. End of the day, after 5 weeks, it stopped. And they just said, we're just putting it down to a really bad chest infection. I'm like, fucking hell, it was a bad chest infection if that's what it was.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, hopefully it doesn't happen again. And I was driving home from, I don't know, from a meeting or something a couple of years ago. And I just started coughing up blood again. And I didn't know what it was. And this time, it only lasted about a week and a half. But it was like that 5 weeks put into that week and a half. At one point, I needed 2 blood transfusions because I coughed up 2 liters of blood in 24 hours.
Holy shit.
Like there was like bags of blood, and like I was rushed to ER, and I called my daughter thinking that I was going to die. It was a horrible experience. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, all I could think of was that fucking bat that Ozzy Osbourne cracked into and had the blood dripping down his face. And I thought, man, this would make a great live show appearance when it comes to having the blood coughing up. And but yeah, so that was I guess the most positive thing I thought about in that instance.
I mean, you could still do the performance thing with like fake blood.
You could. Yeah, you just need to get cauliflower ears first, so then I can have.
That's a no.
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 Don't know me well enough, Andrew. Is that what it is?
Yeah. No, I don't intend on getting cauliflower ears. So
Okay, good.
that's a negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. I am certain by your response you understood what that quote was.
I beg not to say.
You don't like him as an actor?
Not really.
Oh,
No.
shit. This is controversial. This is a conversation I had with mates of mine who were over from Perth over the weekend. And look, he has typecasted himself, but there's that one movie that he had that one scene in that was totally out of blue for him. And it just, like, you couldn't make that movie.
Which
now.
one's that?
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
You couldn't make that movie now. I mean, a white guy playing a black guy playing a white guy playing.
No, it's once again cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that dancing scene when Tom Cruise is on the phone in the fat suit, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, that's just do more of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's got his own production company now, hasn't
Yeah, he does.
he? Yeah.
They all do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think when you look at movies, especially, and I was talking to my mum about this the other day.
Oh yeah.
And mum was the one that brought it up. What's the Reacher movies that he does?
Yep.
He's not Jack Reacher.
No, he's not.
He's not Jack Reacher. The guy's he's like 5 foot or something, right?
Yeah.
Jack Reacher in the books, he's built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah, which is the
And-
TV series.
yeah,
The guy who plays the TV series. He's Jack
He's
Reacher.
Jack Reacher. He is definitely Jack Reacher. I understand him in Mission Impossible. He's tiny. He fits in small little crevices and does
Yeah.
his thing. I get it. That's fair enough. You know, you're small. You're quite elastic. You can do a lot of things when you're small.
Yeah.
When Jack Reacher, you're not elastic. You just hit people. But yeah, look, I'm not a massive fan of him. I mean,
Do you are you a massive fan of movies at all?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I think, was. I guess I'm saying this from how much of an impact it made on me at the time.
Okay.
It's probably The Matrix, and a lot of people are going to say it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just because it was a revolutionary movie. It was made in a time where we're on the precipice of the technology that we're like so good at now.
This thing called the internet.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know. It was the only movie I've ever walked out of the cinemas questioning my whole life.
Questioning your entire existence.
Yeah, exactly. So
You just wanted to do bullet time, didn't you?
Bullet time. What's that?
Yeah, that's the
The bullet thing.
the bullet thing.
absolutely. Bullet
Because
time.
that movie they had all those cameras. That's how they did that.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah. So probably that one. But it's funny. Like I wouldn't necessarily call it my favorite movie. I just think it was the one that had the most impact on it.
Yeah.
I love movies. I watched Longlegs last night. Have you seen Longlegs?
No, I haven't.
Nicolas Cage. So he's another typecast, but at the same time, he also makes movies where only he could do it. There's only
That's
one
so
person
true.
in the world that could do it. And
Nicolas
that's him.
Cage.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know his last name isn't actually Cage.
What is that?
I can't remember, but I read that
Cage free?
No, it's not Cage free.
No.
That he just had to come up with a different name, so he came up with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not one of those ones where he had like the same name as another famous person. Like
No,
I
I don't think so.
Yep.
Although I think it was probably something like Smith or something like that.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
it was like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's not who I want to be.
Do you like my cage free joke?
Yeah, I did.
Thanks. Cheers.
Yeah.
I've been vegan for about 10 years, and I'm going to say that because all vegans say that they're vegan, but I'm not really vegan anymore because I eat eggs and now fish.
Hang on,
So-
we'll just stop that. I just need to check that camera again.
All right. Isn't your main job photography? Is that?
Fucking hell, man. It is. But like these cameras, so when I set up this podcast, I don't really do that much research. I just I just need this equipment and I'll
Yeah.
just fucking work it out.
Yeah.
Right? Trial and error.
Yeah, you're not a tech head. Like I'm not either. Like I can't.
Look, I nerd out on photography gear and I love like new technology and all of that. But like when I did actually end up having to do some research on how long these two cameras can actually record for, and it's some sort of like industry standard. It's only 29 minutes and 59 seconds. So then I'm like,
It's not long enough for a podcast.
no. So then I had to buy like remote timers and like all of that type of stuff. And then when I do the editing, I just stitch it all together.
Yep.
But sometimes, as with all technology, it doesn't work.
Especially things like Netflix, and I've got Chromecast on my
yeah.
TVs, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of times Chromecast just does not want to connect, it drives me up the wall. I'm like, just bring back fucking VHS again. I don't mind rewinding because I know the thing's going to fucking work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Bring back Blockbuster. Like, I'd loved going to the shops and just finding 5 old movies, old horror movies, and then, coming back and watching some dude being melted. And
Yeah. I used to work at Cockbuster.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's the
No, I used to work at Blockbuster. But we used to call it Cockbuster.
that's nice. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
No story behind it.
No story at all.
Sounds like there should be a story behind it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like I remember those days, and then this like mail in like video DVD company came out, and that was Netflix because they were like
Yeah,
mail in.
Oh, it was mail in, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
And and they had those vending machines. And then it just exploded.
Yep.
And, cockblusters no more.
Yeah, the last one closed, I think, about 2 weeks ago, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, last one ever was in America.
So let's just go back to you're a vegan, or you were a vegan.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I still say vegan except for eggs and fish because it's the only way that you can really say it in one sentence. So you sound
Why?
like
Because you don't want to offend anybody.
No, I couldn't care about other people.
Okay.
Like this was all about a change in my life about 12, 13 years ago when I went on a Bucks party over in Esperance, and the guy whose Bucks party it was actually quite lame. All right, they had to go shooting on their farm because that's just what they did. They just got the boys out and they got guns and they were shooting the kangaroos and the rabbits and stuff. And
did the buck wear a dress?
No. There were no bucks. There were kangaroos.
No. Well, it was.
Come on, you're a dad.
Well done. So sorry, it was a lame party.
So we went shooting on this farm.
Right. And that's how you became a vegan.
Because I saw when they're shooting, one guy went up to a rabbit and just wrang his neck, and I'm like, I can't do it, man. Sorry. And from then on, I was like, if I can't do the killing, then why should I expect other people to do it so then I can eat? And that was literally it. I love animals so much, so it was quite a tough thing to sort of navigate in my head, and I may have gone a bit too far over the years, but now I've slowly regressed, and the reason why I regress is just purely from a health standpoint. There's so much processed stuff out there that you eat, and so starting with eggs and knowing eggs, it's a chicken period. That's all it is. As long as it's true. As long as
chicken period.
Yeah, that's it. I love the segues in this podcast.
There's so many clips bundled in this shell blob.
Yeah, that's it. That's essentially what it is. And as long as you source the eggs correctly, I eat the eggs where there's less than 25 chickens per hectare. They're out living their best life. So that's fine. And now fish, source it from a good area. But that's pretty much the only reason why I did it. It's just for health benefits, because the processed meat thing was I could feel that I was a really unhealthy guy.
Yeah. I've tried the carnivore diet.
Oh yeah, how'd you go?
I felt felt really heavy all of the time.
It's the same vibe.
And I'm just I just need some vegetables.
Yep. You're never against vegetables from a health perspective.
Or even just fruit,
Yeah.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
Yep.
I did do a water fast once with my youngest daughter. We did it for 4 days, and just coffee or tea and electrolytes.
Right. What's the benefit in a water fast?
Because what happens is your body goes into ketosis after 12 hours or something, and then you just maintain that, and your body goes through and I can't. You're trying to catch me out on all my terminology, but
No, not at all.
basically, your body goes into a regenerative phase, and I think day 3 it starts eating all the dead cells.
Right.
And day 4, you're
But doesn't water, isn't the meaning behind water consumption to flush out the toxins in your bloodstream?
Yes. But by fasting as well, you're putting yourself into survival mode.
Yep.
And that's why in caveman days, it was just all about survival. And so our bodies aren't made for this abundance of food all of the time.
Yep.
So fasting every now and then is good for you.
Oh, that's interesting.
I actually didn't think that we could do it for 4 days.
No, my goodness.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
No food.
I drink a lot of water, and I should drink even more. But my partner is always down my throat about water, and I get it, totally get it, and I'm always just thirsty. It's probably why I take a piss 3 times a night.
Oh, I was actually going to say that.
Yeah,
There
you go.
That's why.
That's why, man.
You need to stop drinking after 6 o'clock or something.
Do you really though? 6 o'clock?
Yeah, might be sooner.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, yeah.
Still talking about water.
Okay, so
Oh yeah, we're talking about music, aren't we?
yeah, we're talking about music, and I'm looking at those smelling salts there. Actually,
Yeah, look at those. What is that?
they're the strongest smelling salts in the world.
Why do you have smelling salts for?
Because Joe Rogan has them on his podcast, and
Of
I was
course,
like,
of course he does.
I was like, I'll just get them, get people's reactions.
Do not stick under people's noses. Do not sniff.
Yeah.
Do not use more than a few times a day. Warning, contents under pressure, open slowly and carefully away from body and face. What is this?
Bro, it's so strong. It'll wake you up. It's better than coffee.
Does it come in capsules? Is it just salt?
No, it's just salt. You just like...
Mix it in water or something?
No. You don't do that. You just smell it. No.
It.
Wow. It's basically pure ammonia.
Wow.
Yeah.
That cannot be good for you.
It just wakes you up,
Yeah, it's fair
Like,
enough.
it's probably not good for you, but anyway, it's pretty funny. So are you guys going to be touring?
Yes, so we've had a kick-ass 2024. Like, it has been our best year to date.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's
like, what happened?
Well, we released the first single off the album Jude Judas back in January.
Yeah.
We announced the album pretty much 1st of January, announced that it was coming in June. So we had like a 6-month period where we're just releasing and doing tours and shows.
Yeah.
We started with Jude Judas, which ended up appearing on Channel 10's The Project. And then it was good. It was great. It was like a music bed going out to an advert for the Formula One when one of the Ferrari guys moved to McLaren or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then we did Glamfest with the Sisters Dolls guys, with the Blaze, Cassidy Paris, but then there was also the big bands like Lynch Mob and Slaughter, Heat, Janet Gardner from Vixen. The Cruel Intentions, heaps of like killer bands. So we did the Glamfest tour in February, and then after Glamfest, we announced our second single, Shot Down, which got a lot of Triple M support. It got added to our rotation on Hard and Heavy and on a lot of the Aussie platforms across the commercial network, which was really good. And then when we announced that a few weeks after that, we had a mate of ours in the industry said, "Look, man, I know that you are really in love with a band called Dirty Honey. I don't know if you've heard of Dirty Honey before."
No.
This sort of southern rock band out of America, I think California or something. And I've loved them for years. They've only got 2 albums out, same as us. And they've been around for probably the same time as us. But ever since they came out, just dynamic band and really bringing back that sort of 70s southern rock again.
Yeah.
And me and Dave, the drummer, were in love with this band. And then this contact called us up and said, "Hey, these guys are playing Blues Fest this year, and apparently they're doing 2 side shows." I'm like, "Do you know who the booking agent is so we can try and get on as support?" And we're like, he's like, "No, I've got no idea." So I am scrounging, looking for the agent who could possibly be doing this. And then a couple months later, I sort of gave up after, the 2 months really. I tried every single fucking day.
Yeah.
And then it was announced. And then when it gets announced, then you see who it is. And then there was already supports on there. I'm like, I can't fucking believe it.
Damn it.
So I literally just contacted the booking agent, and it was probably the only gig that I've ever fucking begged to do. I said, I don't care about money, I don't care about anything. This is just a show that I want to be part of because these guys are just, amazing. So the highlight for us was when he said yes, and then we got to support Dirty Honey at Stay Gold here in Melbourne.
Wow.
The same month we headlined Wrestle Rock, which is the big wrestling guys here. We've done that twice already, though. Like Julian James and the guys there put on an epic show.
Yeah.
So shout out to the rest of Rock guys. And the Poor as well. We played with the Poor that month. And then we announced our third single, which was Mary Jane, featuring the illustrious and very talented Rusty Brand from Electric Mary, who helped us with the vocals on that. And that did really well also.
And this is just like the first quarter of the year.
This is just the first quarter, man. Yeah, it was just amazing. And then after that was released, then we announced right after the album release in June, we'd be going to Japan for, I think, 10 shows in 2 weeks with Carly Jewel. And then we'd come back and we were supporting Mammal on their tour as main support. We unfortunately couldn't do 2 out of the 4 shows, but we did the Metro, and we did Max Watts here as well back in July, sorry. And then so that was like a pretty massive year for us. And then the past few months we've been heavily writing the third album. We did our album launch a few weeks ago, very late in the game, but we did it anyway. And then we've got a rescheduled. We did have a show in Adelaide that we were supposed to do back in August that we had to reschedule. We've only ever had to cancel 2 shows, and both of them were at the exact same venue with the exact same support act, unfortunately.
Damn.
And this is the third try at the Woodshed in Adelaide. So all those are in Adelaide on the 13th and 14th of December next month. It's their big birthday weekend bash. Heaps of awesome bands playing. So
get to Adelaide, people.
Do it. Get flights.
What did Muhammad Ali say? Muhammad Ali said, if you like me, buy a ticket. If you don't like me, buy a ticket.
Yeah, that's it. And you're not going to argue with Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, no. Just buy a ticket.
The guy was the greatest.
Yeah. What was it like touring in Japan?
It was great. It was an eye opener, definitely. I think the thing that I took away from it the most was the culture of the people there. How well
respected they are.
Respected and respectful they are. People don't even jaywalk over there. Like you jaywalk, people look at you funny. I'd
get lots of stares.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I jaywalk all the time.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, because my approach is I'm too much of an insurance claim if they decide to hit me.
So you jump out in front of traffic, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you better stop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, hit me, please. I need a mill.
I need my body.
And this is next week after you do it, and this is when Amy comes back and looks at the insurance claim things. You did a podcast last week, and
shit. Don't listen to this one, Amy.
No, that's it. So yeah, we did that part. Amazing.
So Japan's pretty cool. Like it's
an epic place.
Completely different, you know, style of.
What I love about Japan is that it's an island,
yeah,
and you go to different towns here, and it differs quite a lot. But you go to any, like, I guess, big town there, it's all huge cities bigger than Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like, we'd get off the train, the bullet train at each sort of stop that we play at, whether it be Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo. They were all huge cities, like mammoth, as far as the eye can see. Yeah.
Well, it's they'd have cities the size of the entire population of Australia.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And more.
Tokyo more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because London's got more people in London than the whole of Australia. So Tokyo being the heavily dense population city that it is. But yeah, Japan was great. It was an eye opener. It was great touring with another Aussie band, dear friends of ours, as I said, Carly Jewel, and made a lot of friends over there, and came back and then got to obviously jump straight on with the Mammal guys, who are awesome. Cade, the bass player from Mammal, is actually my neighbour, so we hang out at the pub most weekends. They're on
share notes.
Yeah, exactly. Share notes.
What are you doing now? Oh, we're doing this.
Yeah, just debrief, really. It's good to sit down and debrief. And they're on tour with the Screaming Jets at the moment. So if you want to see them, they're playing all over the country.
I think that is an interesting point you bring up, though, there about debriefing with someone else who's in the industry. like in being able to bounce things off them.
Yep.
You know, I feel like if you don't do that, you don't have the ability to like realign direction or get ideas or insights into what other people are doing, you know.
I think
and that's so
helps.
important, right?
Yeah, I think it's very important. And you don't realise it until you have debriefed. It's you just go off your instincts usually. But if you've got someone there to sort of talk about your or talk to about, then it is really good. A good old fashioned debrief is always welcome. So yeah, After Mammal was fantastic, and then obviously we've pretty much written the majority of the third album now, which is good. So same year that this one was released, we've pretty much demoed the whole third album, which is we're ahead of schedule, which is good.
That's cool.
And we just announced a couple of weeks ago that we are hitting the road again in January with the legendary Mike Tramp from White Lion.
So I saw that.
Yeah, which is great. So we'll be heading out to Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, January and February. So thanks to Danny at Silverback Touring for having us on.
Amazing. Talk me through your songwriting process. Do you allocate time like in a studio, or do you just like randomly take notes on your phone? You think, oh, maybe I should write about that, or like, how do you go about doing it?
Yeah, good question. With every other band that I've been in, every other project, there's been a different sort of approach to it. There's been, you're all in a room and you're trying to, brainstorm together. And that, I think personally, that's the hardest thing, because you all have your own ideas with songs, but unless, I'm quite a private person, so I like having.
Are you?
Well, yeah.
Like, you've just come on a podcast.
Yeah, I know. But like I can sort of dictate what I say.
That's true. That's true.
I'm locked down, baby. What is it, like a whale's vagina?
Yes. That shit's locked out.
Yeah, watertight.
Literally.
But the writing process is actually really, really streamlined with this band, which is why we are pumping out a lot of material quite regularly. Matt, who's extremely prolific at writing, he'll click track, guitar, a whole song. Just he'll know the structure. He's been doing it for so many years. I think this was around his like 23rd album or something in the past 20 years or something. Like he releases a lot of music with he's in like 4 other bands or whatever. And he'll put literally the whole album's worth of guitar to click track, send it over to me. I'll write the melody and the vocals over that. So I'm within constraints of what he's put down, and I quite like that, because it's almost like putting together a puzzle. Instead of having so many ideas floating around your head and trying to put it to paper on your own and try to like play guitar, sing, and try and think up everything. I've got the bread and butter there that I can just add to, and I think it's such a streamlined way of doing it. We work really well together. Ben and Matt, so Ben the bass player and Matt have worked quite hard on the third album, writing it together, because Ben's a amazing songwriter as well when it comes to the rhythm section of things. And then obviously Dave comes and puts his drums on it as well, and that's how it gets demoed. Like, I'll just send back the song with my melody and my lyrics and vocals with Matt's guitar, then the rest of them go away and learn their parts, and then we'll say next rehearsal learn 3 of the songs, and then we'll nut it out, and then after we've got all the songs together in the studio, let's do it properly.
So that's really cool how like everybody's involved in the creation of it, and you've all got your strengths and your experiences, and I like what you said about the fact that Matt does his first bit, and that's almost the guardrails, because he's been doing it for such a long time, and you have that trust in him, and then everybody adds more stuff in, and then I'm sure when you get into the studio and do that first take, like, is there sometimes friction between people or egos or whatever?
I'm fucking blessed with this band
Really?
because going in solo is extremely hard. I've tried the solo career and it is brutal because you're trying to promote yourself. You feel like a douche because you're promoting yourself. All finances are everything's funded from you. As a band, you have to be a democracy, man. Like there is no way around it. I've seen so many bands falter because of egos and people just fighting. If you're not mature enough to get together and have a conversation about an issue that you may have, then what's the point? There's you can have a different opinion. You can have you could be strongly against something that I might wear something too ridiculous on stage, and Matt will turn around and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Doesn't matter. It's fine. It's all good." It really doesn't matter. We can take criticism from each other without it getting bitey and getting personal.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the band more than anything, more than the music, more than the successes that we've had even over the past year. I love these guys to the point where it is such an inseparable bond that there is no thought of anyone ever leaving, which is a first for me. I've never had a group of people where I haven't been nervous about one of them leaving or saying I've had enough.
Why?
Why?
Why have you always had that feeling?
Because it's always happened. Every band that I've been in, it's always been someone isn't 100% into it, and then then there'll be tension that way. But because this was Matt's band at the start, he's the one that brought everyone together. So it's Matt's project. I know he's not going anywhere.
He's not going
He's
anywhere.
not going anywhere.
He's the guy that does the first thing.
Yeah, exactly. And if he goes anywhere, he's losing his arms.
Yeah.
Okay? Speaking of Matt, have you seen any photos of him before? Do you know what he looks like?
No.
All right. So you'll look at him. He's classic metalhead, bald, got the beard with the little elastics in the beard.
Yep.
And, the baggy cargo pants and the King Diamond t-shirt, and you look at him. If you saw a metalhead like that on the streets, what would be the quintessential?
Get out of his way.
No. Yes, but what would be the job type? What type of job do you think he would have?
The job type?
Yeah.
He'd be like a roadie or something.
You'd think something like a roadie would be good.
Or like...
think more quintessential.
Removalist or something? I don't know.
Oh, sorry, am I keeping you?
No, I don't know. For some reason, my phone just fucking went off. The music started playing.
Oh, really? What song was it?
I don't know. It's some gangster rap or something.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Yeah. No, so now since you're asking me, I reckon he's in IT.
No, IT would be good though.
Yeah.
No, but think more heinous.
I don't know. It could be anything.
It's true. The guy's a mortician.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so he puts people back together again after they're dead. And yeah, so that's this dark side of.
I mean, Warren Buffett. The way that Warren Buffett invests his money is he looks for companies that will ultimately have longevity. He might have been the very first investors in Gillette,
really?
Shavers.
Yeah, yep. Oh, yep.
Men always have to shave.
Yep.
It ain't going anywhere.
Yep.
Like being a mortician, people are always dying.
They are. That's it.
You're always going to have business.
Yep. Taxes and death.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, he's been doing it for many, many years. But yeah, I don't know what the segue from that was, but yeah, where are we going with this?
Oh, he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So the other bands that you were part of, you always felt like someone was going.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
This podcast is
Exactly,
not
yeah.
sponsored by anybody. I would love it to be, but it's not.
Link in the description if you want to.
Yeah, just send me a message.
Benny is like the coolest, calmest, chillest guy in the world, and he ain't going anywhere because Ben, like, the dude drives like 4.5 hours from Bairnsdale. He lives in Bairnsdale.
Oh shit!
Just to rehearse for,
I know
for a few
how
hours.
far that is.
Yeah, I know.
Just to rehearse.
Just to rehearse sometimes.
Does he stay the night?
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, okay.
But
thank
other times
God.
not. But it's having like that
commitment.
That commitment is amazing, and he's such a dude. Amazing.
Yeah.
Such a talented guy as well. And Dave, one of my best mates, and we live around the
Your
corner
neighbour.
from each other as well.
Yeah.
And Dave's been like he's I think he's even more into it than I am. So it's one of those bands where I'm so fortunate to have around and to.
What's it like having a friend that's more into it than you? Is it overpowering?
I don't know. Maybe.
You're like, just settle down, man. Stop getting so into it. And he'd be like, come on, Glenn.
Let's do this. Come on. No, it's great. I love it. I absolutely love it because all my life I've been this driving force trying to put projects, up on a high priority list over everything else.
Yeah.
But he's right up there with me.
I love it too. Like, I think that more people just need to get up off their ass and fucking do something.
It's not hard, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but it's worth it.
But like, don't worry about what everybody else thinks. Like, just do something. And, like, I know a lot of people on social media will just like watch, and then you can, even though like I may know them or I may not know them, or I've met them once, I know what they're thinking.
Yep.
Like, it's just like, and I don't know. I think I'm a very big believer in energy. And if you have energy, you should do something with it.
Yep.
And if you don't have energy, then do something to inject energy into your life. And, that's what makes people young, and it gives other people inspiration to like do other things as well.
Yeah.
And I just get so annoyed when I know that there's this untapped capability in individuals that will just sit there and overthink.
That's the problem with a lot of it. It's the overthinking. It's the perfectionist in each person as well that doesn't help. I've been in bands where we've released 4 songs in 12 years because of trying to perfect things or not sort of doubling down on your self-worth. And having self-worth, I think, is a very important thing. Having an ego is very important, but also having, being humble enough to, I guess, be okay with it, but also have, know why you're there, know why you're doing what you're doing, and not listening to this, this noise in the background telling you what you should or shouldn't be doing. I think it's very important, especially in music, because at the end of the day, and we keep on harping on it, is that you're doing it for you. And if people like what you're doing, that's just an added bonus.
But Glenn,
Andrew, you know what? I take the piss out of my partner for this because she sometimes says Glenn. And I don't know if it's just me or if when your longtime partner calls you by your actual name, you almost feel insulted.
Yeah.
I tell you, you're like, what are you calling me by my name for? This is
because you're about to get a. No, I won't. Jesus Christ! Why did the brain go there?
It's a live podcast.
You're just about to get castrated.
Yeah,
Glenn.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
But Glenn, I'm trying to be the greatest artist that I can be, and I want to please other people. What should I do?
Don't please other people. But why? Now, why are you trying to please other people?
Because I'm trying to get my name out there.
Why are you trying to get your name out there?
Because I feel like I make good music and I want people to listen to it.
You make really good music, Andrew.
Oh.
Your music is absolutely amazing. And so how good does that feel?
Yeah, it feels great.
And that's probably why you're chasing everyone else to say you feel the music's really good.
Yeah.
But is there an end to it?
There's never an end to it.
So you're always going to be chasing. So what's the point? Like, I'm at an age where I'm not an old geezer, of course, but for the industry, we see rock and roll bands in their 20s and late 20s, early 30s even that are we're good friends with. So it's not like I know where I'm going with this. All I know is that we do it for us, and we don't bother with that noise anymore. Like that's something that I've stopped doing since this band. And it works because you're not trying to appease anybody. You're not trying to,
The key comment in that statement was, "I'm at an age."
Not the age, not old.
No,
just a age.
No, not old.
Yeah.
Fuck this fucking camera. What is going on with this camera?
How old's the camera?
Dude. It's not that old. Actually, I lied.
The camera's at an age.
No, I think with age comes experience, and with experience comes knowledge. And with knowledge, you just have this, like, you can filter out all the noise,
Yeah. Did Muhammad Ali say that as well?
No, I don't think so.
No, he didn't. That was Andrew.
Yeah. It's like me with my photography, right? So I've been doing it for 12 years.
Yep.
Like when you started out, you're like, you're trying to like network and you're trying to like make relationships with people and, get good models and understand your craft and yada, yada, yada. And, and then get your work out there, because if people aren't seeing your work, then you're not getting the interest and all of this. Whereas now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
People ask me, like, what's your strategy for social media? And I say, I don't care. I just post whenever I want to post. Sometimes I'll post like 12 times a day.
Yep. Sometimes you get
nothing.
views. Sometimes you get heaps.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like how I feel.
Yep.
Is it the right thing to do or is it the wrong thing to do? I don't know. But like at the end of the day, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because I'm just doing it because I love it.
Yep.
This
isn't, the industry has gotten to a point where online numbers is a thing. I've never understood that. Like, like X amount of streams, X amount of followers on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, fucking TikTok. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
We're just playing music.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah.
We're storytellers. That is it. Whether you're doing it on stage or doing it in a studio, that's what we want to do. We didn't sign up for this to gain followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Would it be cool? Maybe. Would it help? Possibly. Is it the be all and end all? Absolutely not. So yeah, I totally get it. It's not about that. It's about,
I'm at an age.
you are at an age. It's experience, knowledge.
Well, it's my birthday next weekend.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Happy birthday. How old are you turning? Come on.
45.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same age as the rest of the band.
Yeah.
Put together.
Oh, ouch. Look, I don't feel 45, which is good.
You don't look 45.
No, thank you.
No, it's good. Well done.
But awesome. So how can people contact you?
They can't. My number's private. For obvious reasons. Andrew, are you going to tell everyone your contact number?
Hey, it's all over my website. If you want to contact me, it's all there.
No, Shotgun Mistress. Come on, it's the name. Just type into Google, you'll find it.
Yeah.
all the handles and everything's the same. So
Yeah, fantastic.
yeah, come and see us play. Come see Mike Tramp and White Lion on the back in like 28th, 29th of Jan. I think the 2nd and 3rd or something.
Yeah,
of Feb,
Australia
so.
Day.
Yeah, actually, that'd be
Around
Australia
Australia Day time, yeah.
So that'll be good. I think Brisbane first, then Melbourne, then Sydney and Adelaide. So
Yeah,
please
that's
come,
awesome.
say good day. And yeah, plenty more things.
Hopefully I can come to a Melbourne show.
Oh, yes,
and,
chuck on the door, man.
I can come backstage and do some interviewing.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
I fucking love that
Yeah, I think
idea.
we're at the corner, I think on the 29th of Jan, I think.
Okay. Yeah, awesome.
I could get that wrong, so apologies if I did, but just look it up.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming along. It's been a great chat. I will get my phone just to take a quick selfie.
Absolutely.
And, amazing.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having us, Andrew.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
Yeah, hope you like the vinyl. I don't know if you've even listened to the music yet. So.
I do have a record player.
Oh, you do have a record
so
player.
I will play it. Yeah.
It'd be pretty pointless with all this shit behind me, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening in. Make sure you hit subscribe, that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. See ya.